This video, I'm going to be going over the 49ers offense. If you guys want to check out my full 49ers offensive ebook, it's in our school community, and I'll put a link to that in the description below. If you guys are looking to get better at Madden, it's the best place, in my opinion, in the community to get better, just because we have a ton of content over there, and we're always updating it with new stuff. So if you're not a member of the school site, again, I'll put a link to that down in the description if you guys want to check that out. And $10 gets you literally everything I know about Madden and college football. So if you're not a member yet, again, that link will be in the description. And we're going to be talking today about the San Francisco 49ers offensive playbook. And I'm going to talk first and foremost about the audibles within this playbook. So the audibles, in my opinion, some of the best ones are this bunch X nasty wide or single back, bunch X nasty wide zone jet sweep PA cross, nice little under center run set, and then tight wide flex has a really good wide zone halfback dive, PA deep out just for play action blocking purposes, and then jet sweep, right? So we have some under center runs that we can get into in this playbook that are really effective. You also have the pistol wing flex close, which is a really nice kind of red zone type formation. It has this motion slot comeback and the wide zone. And then if you wanted to, you could have, I don't know if I have a dive in here. No, just the zone weak, but it's a pretty good little red zone mini scheme if you guys want to utilize that. Really, the bread and butter of this offense is the shotgun formations. So starting with the tight Y off, this is a really good little mini scheme. You have motion Y corner, motion slot choice, and motion mesh spot. These three plays are kind of like a mini bunch strong. And then you also have tight end corner if you do actually want to run some tight Y off in this. That's one of the better plays. Flex Y close, this is a formation in which you can get a lot of stuff accomplished. For example, one of my favorite plays is this little RPO right here. It's just a great little quick audible from our base formation, and you're going to be able to get the ball out quick and do some different things like that within this play. I like to basically put, halfback circle in here because I have a nice little streak route to the tight end, kind of a unique streak route that is really effective. Flood has a nice table route, and then I got a play action play. So we can kind of get a lot of stuff accomplished. If you don't like the RPO, you could always go with the inside zone here as well. All right. And then doubles flex wild close. This is kind of the bread and butter formation. This is the formation that you're going to come out in every single play. And this is the formation that I think is really why you would want to be in 49ers. It's just a really good formation. There's a lot of good plays in here. Kind of changing my audibles up a little bit. One of the new plays that I like to have access to is the motion fade out or motion HB out, because this is a really good cover two beater on the left side. You have Y sail, one of the best plays in the game, flood H post, and then motion angle wheel. This one again is one of those plays you could get away with putting something else in the slot. For me, I'm going to put motion dig under in here just because I call that play a little bit more. So I like to have access to that. And then you pretty much come out in whatever play you want. I normally am going to be coming out in PA snag for the majority of the game. And then wide trips weak. This is a really nice little mini scheme that you have in here. This play goal line GL fork zig, goal line fork zig. Really good with that delayed little underneath route on the right side. You have clear out. That is a really good little seam streak to the tight end. Slants is really good because it has a fast table route to the running back. And then you have shock H option that has kind of that nice fade on the left. And then also has kind of like a seam wheel or a kind of a, I don't know what you call like a slot fade, I guess, to the right side. But really good route to be able to attack cover two. Bunch spread nasty. This is probably what I think sets Kansas City or sets San Francisco apart from New Orleans, is that you have all of these bunch formations, which are good as an audible. So what I like to do here is the play Z swirl in, motion slot under, motion slot hitch, and seam divide. Honestly, you could probably get rid of seam divide if you wanted to run something else. If you want to run play action, if you want to run a play with a little bit better table route, whatever you want to do here, kind of up to you. But the main plays are Z swirl in and motion slot hitch. Those are kind of the bread and butters of that formation. Bunch X nasty. This is something I don't actually call a ton, but it does have some good plays in it. I like the motion plays, motion smash sluggo, because you can quick hike in. It really cooks cover two. Motion speed dig under is really good because it can get you to attack kind of that left side of the field. And then smash return is a great play to have always have in your playbook. And then from there, it's pretty much whatever you want to do. If you want to put a run in here, that's cool. The RPO is actually pretty good from this. Double outs is really good because you get that kind of bench pivot type of route. Drive corner is good because you have a speed in from the running back. Dig return is good. There's a lot of good options here. I'm probably just going to stick with this I don't know if I would stick with this motion mesh sneak. I think I would probably rather have, let's see, what these short corners out of the empty. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't have a good spacing switch, so I'm going to go double outs in this spot or a run play. And then bunch wide flex, again, just another good audible two formation that you can get a lot accomplished with. So you can get stuff like verticals in here, an RPO, dagger, right? You can get some plays in here that you might not be able to get in your standard bunch. One of the things about this formation is this play flood is actually really good as well if you wanted to put that in there. But I really value return routes, so I'm going to keep that the way I have it. And then I don't really use the spread set here, but this trip set is pretty good. You have the good verticals with the seam streak. You have PA crossers in here, and then from there you can kind of do all kinds of different things. I really like levels corner just because you get the nice table route on the right side. It's a quick snappable play, and then inside zone. If you're a trips guy, you almost always want to have some type of inside zone or RPO run. So I probably just leave it like that. And then verticals and PA crossers. I don't really go to the formation a ton. Tray open is one of those formations, I guess, worth touching on just briefly. The play stick is really good because you have a fast table route on the left side. The play stick and not is really good because you have a stock fade on the left side and you have a return route on that right side. Inside zone, just so you have a run option, and then shock H option because you have that kind of seam or that slot fade route. But there are some other plays that are really cool out of this. For example, deep post is really good red zone play because it has that running back ghost route that you can't hot route anymore. So I'll put that in the audibles. Again, be my guest. These are kind of some of those secondary formations that I don't call a ton. But anyway, that is that for the audibles, kind of a deep dive into that. And we're going to get on the field and get into PA snag. So in general, the rules for this offense, you could pretty much run this to either hash. The one thing I want to say is if you're planning to audible out of the doubles flex, let's say into a bunch or something, pretty much everything that you're going to audible into is going to go to the what you would want the ball on the left hash. Or essentially you would want the audible to get the trips into the wide side. So you see when I audible to this trips formation, you see how it puts it into the wide side of the field. So if the ball was over here, right, I would probably want to come out in this formation flipped because you'll see here if I audible to this, now I have my trips to the short side. And this is just not really effective, really ever in Madden, especially in the switch stick era. So generally speaking, you're going to have you're going to come out with your tight end to the short side, and it's going to give you the best spacing possible. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into some plays here. So first and foremost, no matter what you're doing offensively in this year's game, you have to be able to attack kind of the basic cover 4 blitz that everybody wants to run. The best way to attack this blitz is PA snag or play action in general, just because play action gives you the best blocking. What I like to do is a combo like this, especially for cover 4. And the reason I like this play is because it gives me a short read on the right side, and really it just isolates this yellow zone. As you see, if the yellow zone comes down like that, I'm able to hit that post in the back end of the defense. And then, let's say that they get kind of aggressive and they, carry the post with their user, or they kind of pull themselves out of the middle of the field, then you're going to see here that your tight end and your little snag route are going to be really nice options over the middle of the field. So this is a great little play, especially against cover 4, just to start the game off. One of the other ways that I like to run this play when we're talking about attacking kind of that cover 4 with a yellow zone or like basically fewer yellow zones would be something like this right here. This is a quick snap play. This is just super simple, a speed out and then a hitch. Really, we're just looking for either hitch, right? We're just looking for one of these two hitches. Really, really good against switch stick because they're quick hitting routes. They're underneath. You're going to be able to attack the defense really, really quickly. So that's another thing. I think in this year's game, you really want to be kind of putting a lot of stress on the underneath 10 zones because those are the hardest to switch stick. The deeper zones are, if everyone's basing out of cover 4, those are kind of naturally taken away. So the next play setup that I like is something like this. This is the reason you can send 5 out of play action is because the play action will dumb up the blitz. Anyways, we have a little high load read here. We're going to be looking for this tight end corner. As you see, kind of cuts and gets into that soft spot of the zone against a cover 4. And then let's say, for example, that your opponent decides, okay, I'm going to switch stick. I'm going to switch stick off of this yellow zone, and maybe I'm going to switch stick to this right side guy on a vert hook or something like that. Like I'm going to kind of over pursue to defend the corner route to the tight end. That's where you're going to basically be patient in the pocket and really look for this post kind of in the soft spot of the defense. Now, what's eventually going to happen is your opponent's going to start to realize that you love to throw corner routes to the right side, and so they're going to run cover 2 to the right side. So it's going to look something like this, right? So what we want to do to attack that is utilize the same exact setup, except just invert it. Instead of putting the tight end on the corner, we're going to put the outside guy on the corner. It's going to look like this. And what you're going to see here is this deeper corner now is going to do a really good job of basically just destroying cover 2 to the sideline. And you're going to basically put them in a position where effectively they have to switch stick onto the inside quarter, and they have to kind of go guard that. Well, the problem is if they switch stick onto the safety onto that inside quarter, then, and this is it's honestly not a super easy switch stick, but if they do switch stick to that quarter in that situation and they try to go lurk the corner route, then what you're going to be able to do is you're going to read that and you're just going to step up and you're going to throw this tight end seam over the top for a big play. So these are how some of the main, kind of plays within the offense really work together to kind of open up different things. Now, another great way to attack that adjustment on the right side that I was just talking about, where they start to go with a cover 2 look, is to go to the play Y sail. Now, the problem with Y sail is the pressure can get to you because you're not going to be it's not going to be perfect pass pro. What I like to do in terms of pass protection for the loop is I just like to slide basically to the left and ID this guy right here. This is, I think, the best overall pass protection. We'll see if this blocks the actual crossfire. It doesn't block crossfire perfectly, but it blocks the disengage really well. Half slide left, and then half slide. So it depends on what blitz they're doing. If they're doing this crossfire blitz a lot, then play action. If you're running play action a lot, eventually they're going to stop doing that. But the other thing is, if I wanted to pick up, this version of the blitz, then what I would probably do is simply half slide right and still ID that guy. So you see now we have a lot more protection kind of coming left. And then if I step up, I'm going to have time, and then I'm going to hit that tight end. Now, for sake of illustration here, and you can block the running back. You don't have to send the running back on the pattern either. Also double team, I believe. I believe you can also double team this guy right here, and this is normally decent as well. But basically, the main thing that we're looking for is this tight end corner, and you can throw it underneath of the quarter, or you can throw it over the top of a cloud if you use the corner from Y sail, because it's a little bit deeper in terms of how the route is going to run. So again, when I run this from Y sail, though, I do stem the corner basically all the way down, like so, and then I'm going to look for this corner route, as you see right here, against cover 2. So these are all like super good plays for some of the mainstream ways that people are going to defend you. And I wanted to talk a little bit also about some of my 5 out, 5 wide looks that I like to run out of this. So again, if we think about what the meta defense is in this year's game, it's really this right here. It's this cover 4 with the crossfire loop or the engage. What I like to do, another setup that I like to run that I think is really good, would be something like this right here, where I motion the running back out and put him on a 10 to 15 yard speed out. So it looks like this. As you see here, we have the double drags underneath to kind of take advantage of the short passing game and really keep the user down in the middle. And then what we're able to do is, because they have to play hard flats on both sides, it gives us this window to hit this speed out on the right side. So what that's going to do is, once we start hitting that speed out consistently, then they're going to go back to cover 2. So we're going to make one slide adjustment, and this is kind of like a smash return type of setup out of bunch, but essentially it looks like this. So now it looks exactly the same, but they put that cover 2 corner on the speed out, and then you're able to hit that deep corner over the top. What is really important to understand about that route combo that I just showed you is, if they run, let's say that you're running this play and they decide, okay, we're going to play just our basic cover 4, but we're going to put a hard flat out here. What you'll see is this hard flat is normally not going to be able to get out there. I don't know if Mahomes' just release is just not good enough, but normally this hard flat will not be able to get out and actually defend this. What you might have to do is you might have to stem the out route all the way down. So when you motion him out, put him on an out and then stem all the way down like that, makes it a little shorter of a route. But essentially you're just looking out there, oh, it's cover 4. Okay, I can just take a simple completion right in that window against the cover 4 defense. This kind of leads me to one of my other plays that I really, really like out of this. I normally run this one when I have the ball on the right side or the tight end on the short side. This is a little bit of a tendency play, but the reason I run this with this is because I think it just spaces really well together. But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to go to the play flood H post. We're going to drag the tight end, streak this solo receiver, and then we're going to speed out this outside receiver on the left. And essentially what we're looking for here is for against a cover 4 defense, we're looking to hit that speed out over there on that left side. These are ways that we can attack kind of that intermediate area of the field without them being in a position where they can just rely on their switch stick. Speed outs are not the easiest thing in the world to switch stick unless you know that they are coming. And so, obviously that's a little bit of a tell that I love to run this, especially when I'm on this hash. But, this is a really good little play right here in which you can make this throw pretty consistently against a cover 4 shell. And then what is the best way to counter that? So the best way to counter that throw is to play cover 2, right? The best way to counter that throw is to play cover 2. And this is why I love to put my tight end on a drag. Because when I put my tight end on a drag, you're going to see that cloud is going to back up, and then I can throw this drag across for an easy pickup of 5 to 10 yards. Once you start to notice that they are consistently playing cover 2 on the outside, normally it's going to look like this, where they have 2 quarters. If they're good at the game and they realize the quarters are really good, they're going to probably play a cover 2 like that. One of the ways that you can attack that is just play motion halfback out. You're going to put the slot receiver on a streak. You're going to drag your tight end, put your right side receiver on an in, stem him up twice, and then block the running back. So it looks like this. The reason that this is such a good setup against cover 2 is because this this fade on the left side is a true fade. It's going to really get more width. And as you see against a basic cover 2, you're going to be able to get that over the defense pretty easily, especially if they're in the double safety. Now, if you're playing somebody that is a little bit more advanced and they're trying to run some other coverages other than just cover 4, what you'll typically get is they'll back these guys off like this, and the cover 2 would look something like what you see on your screen. So if they back those guys up like that, this throw is still 100% an option for you. What you're going to see here is your seam streak now becomes a really good potential read up the middle of the field, and then your outside fade is also something that you could potentially hit against a cover 2. So the beauty of this play is it really can stress the entire it can stress the defense significantly on that left side if they're trying to play Tampa 2 to try to take away your speed outs. If they're doing that, then you have this throw a lot. And then as you see here, that can happen if the safety's backed up. But normally if the safety goes that far out wide, your seam streak is going to be open. So it's kind of one of those things. If they go to cover 2 and they have the safety in the box like this is going to be pretty free for you, whether it's a quarter or a deep half. So you see here's a deep half. As you see, he just can't get back there, and you're able to fry cover 2. The reason this is important is because cover 2 is one of the main coverages in this game that they can utilize to stop things like zig routes and speed outs, which pose a significant threat to the way they want to play defense typically. So that is that play. Obviously, you can run most of these setups on either hash as well. So what I would recommend is mixing in some of these plays. Another play that I really like out of this, especially for the cover 4 meta, is something like this right here. And this is the motion dig under. The reason I call this play is you have a nice fade right here to the slot, and then you have this like really low drag route. So we're just going to stem up this end route so that it goes to 15 yards. We're going to flat the tight end and wheel the running back so it looks like this. And essentially, you can throw the running back here on the right side against cover 4, as you'll see. That was actually a terrible example. Let me see if I can actually show that one more time. As the three rec went kind of crazy. So the user is typically going to be here. So the user normally will step a little bit to the right. And then if you're 5 outing, I recommend double teaming this guy right here. Normally that'll pick this up. But you got that throw right there. As you see, they have to have a vert hook to be able to defend that. That's why that's good. One really important thing to mention is if you're playing somebody that is a little bit more, I don't know, they're just adjusting a little bit, they'll do stuff like this where they put a vert hook here, because People don't normally throw to the flat on the right side in this formation, so they'll just put a vert hook like that. What you want to do is be disciplined offensively, and you just want to make sure if you see that you take your flat route, right? If you have the flat, take the flat, and that's going to just kind of keep everything going for you. And then obviously that's why you also want to be threatening with like running back table routes, speed outs, things of that. We didn't get into this in the PA snag setup, but if they do give you a setup like this, the other thing that's really important to mention is you can throw your running back route. This is one of the easiest ways to just pick up an easy 5-10 yards is when you see cloud flats, you just take it to flat, you turn up field, and just take your easy yards that way as well. So those are some different plays for the current meta out of doubles. But now what I want to do is get into some of my favorite plays out of other formations that are going to do a good job against the meta. So one of those plays that I really like, and this is becoming one of my favorite routes against cover 4 in this game, is this goal line, or not goal line fork zig, although that is a really good play. We're going to talk about clear out. So what makes clear out really good is we're going to drag the solo receiver. We're going to block the running back. We'll typically half slide right like this and just set up a pass pro. And then on the right side, we're going to streak the slot receiver, and we're going to come back or speed out this outside guy. So what we're able to get with this comeback route is this hard flat defender is going to have to come underneath, and then you're going to be able to hit this comeback kind of late in the play against a standard cover 4. Or if you speed out, that's also something that's really good. I do think in this year's game, people are anticipating speed outs a lot more than they would anticipate a comeback route. So just kind of keep that in mind here. But essentially, what you're able to do, if you have some time, is you can hit that comeback on the outside right in that pocket. Again, I like to throw the ball outside because it's harder to defend those areas of the field in a cover 4 coverage. Cover 4 is really good, especially defending kind of the deep middle of the field. And so if you can attack kind of that intermediate sideline area, I think it makes it really good. Now I want to talk about this play slants. I think this is a really, really good play, and there's a lot of different ways that you can run the play. So, for example, I mean, literally just infinite ways to run the play. The main thing I want to show you is this fast table route to the running back and what it can do against a hard flat. A lot of times you can just force feed this running back route and just consistently throw it again and again and again. So what I like to do is essentially create different combinations off of this fast table route. So, for example, one of the combinations that I personally really like is just a simple streak corner flat like this. I think this is really good. And then you're just reading that flat. Normally you're either going to be able to hit the table or you're going to hit the running back out of the backfield in that situation. And then you have a high-low read on the right side. Another play that's really good is this goal line fork zig, and there's a lot of different ways to run it. I think the best way to honestly run this play would basically be to run some type of a levels concept, and there's a lot of different ways to get to it. So what I'll do here is just a simple post, drag, and then a deep clear out streak on this left side. So you see it looks something like this. You can do whatever you want with this running back. I'll probably end up pass protecting him most of the time. But what happens against a cover 4 coverage, if you think about it, they're going to be user in here. They're going to switch stick off and probably go user onto the safety to take away the tight end post. And when they do that, it's just going to leave this massive void underneath for you to be able to hit this little, I don't even know what you call it, swirl route late in the play. Nice little dump off route to be able to attack a variety of things that the defense wants to do. One of the most important things when you're attacking cover 4 is also to really attack kind of essentially between the numbers and hash marks underneath and in the intermediate area of the field. One of the ways we can also do that is by going to the gun bunch, spread, nasty formation, and going to the play Z swirl in. The setup for this play is we're just going to in route the solo receiver, stem him up a couple times, drag the tight end, streak the slot receiver, and block the running back. We're able to put a ton of pass protection on the field here. And basically what we're going to be able to do is really looking for this return route kind of right in that little pocket. And then let's say that they have an underneath yellow zone. This is one of the most important things that I will say about this route combination in this entire video. If they have an underneath zone, let's say they're playing a cover 2 like this, there's a couple of ways in which we can take advantage of that. The first way is we could call a variation of the setup. So a variation of the setup would look something like what you see on your screen right here, right? We're using this corner route just like we were in the other formation, but now we're able to attack cover 2 in that regard as well, as you see. The other thing that we can do to take advantage of that really simple, and we'll put it as simple as possible here, is basically to attack with this in route in the intermediate area of the yellow zone. So you're going to see here that the yellow zone is going to sit down, and it's going to basically defend. It's going to basically defend this little return route right here. What we're going to look for is this deep in route. Again, you want it about 15 yards, and you're looking to throw this kind of like right in that little pocket right there, right underneath of that clear out streak. So let me try to show that for you one more time here. Didn't get a great example there because I got shedded. That's why I should be containing. But anyways, let me get back to Z swirl in route, stem him up to 15 yards, drag, streak, block the running back. Pass pro, we're going to double team and ID. Anyways, what you're going to see is you can throw this in route in the intermediate area of the field, about that 15-yard depth. And so those hooks, if they're on 5, they're going to struggle to defend something like that. So that's how we can kind of use the intermediate area of the field to really attack some of these zones. We can also do that out of the play Y sail. One of my favorite ways to attack it is actually a setup that I don't think you see a ton, but it's using this little whip route right here to the left and then putting the tight end on a streak like this. The reason that I think that this is a really good setup is this whip route is going to pull the flats out, and then the tight end is going to run off all the deep blues. And so what you're going to get is kind of this throw that can be thrown in this little underrated pocket of the field. Underrated pocket of the field right in there, right there. And I might need to put a little extra protection on the field here, but basically, if I go to, let's see if I can show you one more time here. Something like this, and then I'll block the running back just so we can block this blitz, hopefully. And basically what you'll see is that throw, right? Getting into the intermediate yellow zone, I think is super, super important. So, because those are going to be harder for them to defend, and if you have the right routes, they're pretty difficult to switch stick as well. So, anyways, that's kind of how I would attack that. Went over a little bit of bunch spread nasty. I'll go over another play that I really like out of this. This is this motion slot hitch. There's a lot of setups that you can run out of this. What I like to do is just a very simple flat. I like to put an out route and stem it all the way down. I think that route just is easier to throw. But anyways, if they're running the cover 4 defense, what you're basically going to see is we're able to hit this zig kind of in the soft spot of the zone, right in this little pocket. And it just becomes a really, really easy way to attack those cover 4 style defenses. And then, as I said before, once they start to go to, if they start to go to cover 2, and we have a lot of different ways in which we can attack that. One of the ways you can do that is stemming this outside guy down. It's going to make him a fade. We'll streak the slot receiver. We'll put a little corner route out here like this. And basically against cover 2, you can pretty much just choose what touchdown do you want to throw. Do you want to throw the outside guy? Do you want to throw the slot? Do you want to throw the corner? It's a really, really good way to be able to attack cover 2. Another really, really fun offense or fun formation in this playbook to me is the shotgun. If you audible here to the left side, you can go to the gun tight way off. This play is, there's a lot of really good plays within this. One of them is a really good cover 2 beater. It's this motion mesh spot. All you're going to do is you're just going to flat route this solo receiver. So as you see here, the play kind of looks like this. If you want to block the running back, you can do that. That'll just help, again, provide additional pass protection for you. But what this does a really good job of is when someone sees a formation like this, they normally run a defense like what you see here to try to take away some of those zigs. And so what this is going to do is this is going to do a really good job of popping cover 2. You'll see this auto motion fade, just kind of gets in a really soft spot and does a really good job at being able to attack cover 2. Whether the cover 2 is a quarter or it's a deep half zone, this route is going to be good regardless of that. And then the other thing that I think that it does a really good job against cover 2 is if you think about a cover 2, normally you have these 2 vertical hooks, and then from there, the user is going to kind of be almost like a deep blue defender. So if you got something like this, what's really nice about this motion mesh spot play is this little hitch right here to the circle receiver. If we were to put the running back on a table or just block him either way, what's really nice about it is you're going to see here that kind of this hitch is going to be in a real soft spot against the cover 2 coverage. It's actually a really difficult route to be able to just put a zone that's going to guard. So you're going to get them back into the cover 4, at least on that left side of the field. So that's why this formation is really good. It does a good job at attacking cover 2. And then you also have motion slot choice. As you see, you have some kind of unique routes with a return, basically like a return route here to the right side. But you also have this motion Y corner. What's really nice about this motion Y corner setup is you're just going to streak the guy that's on the line of scrimmage. You're going to flat this outside guy, and then you're just going to block your running back. So it looks like this. What you'll notice against a lot of cover 4s is you can throw this tight end corner in a real soft spot against the defense, as you see right there. And then if they start running cover 2, then you can start going to some of your cover 2 beaters out of this. So a lot of this game this year is really centered around being able to consistently attack cover 4 and cover 2, because those are the primary coverages you're going to see, and then kind of getting them into a guessing game of, are you in cover 2 or cover 4, and obviously always paying attention to how they switch stick. If you enjoyed this video, you're really going to enjoy our school community. It's only $10 to be a member. It gets you access to all of my offensive and defensive ebooks for both Madden and for college football. So if you want to sign up, head down to the description and click the link down below.